Welcome to Elite Speakers, our next episode of Hiding Behind the Pages 40 Women Interview Series. I am here to ask y'all right now to go subscribe, like, and share right there at the bottom of the screen. Go like, subscribe, and share to Elite Speakers on YouTube and Facebook so that you can stay up to date on the very next episode of Hiding Behind the Pages. And with that being said, I am your co-founder, Tracy Brooks.
And Chikeitha Owens.
And we will be interviewing today the most beautiful Stafon Jackson Bishop. Chikeitha, will you please give us a little bit of background on Miss Bishop?
Yes, welcome, welcome, welcome. So Miss Stafon Jackson Bishop, she's a native of Wichita, Kansas, currently residing in Arlington, Texas. Stafon is a child of the Most High God and a believer. She's a wife, she's a mother. She is also the executive director of CNJ Foundation. Miss Stafon was introduced to cancer in 1998 by way of her daughter's illness, and she's a 3-time colorectal cancer warrior herself. Through her trials with cancer, she has a voice for colorectal and childhood cancers. She's an avid mentor, advocate, and speaker for her battles and her fights. Stafon enjoys women empowerment, speaking engagements, and networking. However, her heart and passion has been spreading awareness for childhood cancer and colorectal cancer. If I'm pronouncing that correct.
Wow, what an awesome testimony thus far. And I can't wait to have Stafon on to share a little bit more about that testimony. So without further ado, join us for the next episode of Hiding Behind the Pages. And we are excited to have you join us today for the next episode of Hiding Behind the Pages. Today we have a beautiful woman full of information and inspiration. I mean, if you looked up the word inspiration, you will see this woman's face. And I am so honored to have her here with us today to share just a little bit about her testimony, because we want you to understand you're not the only one going through what you're going through. There is someone out there who can share that walk with you. And Miss Stafon is here to share her walk and her journey. Thank you so much, Stafon, for joining us, Hiding Behind the Pages for the Interview Women Series. We thank you for being here. How are you?
I am doing absolutely marvelous this morning and just ready to get going and so pumped up and just happy.
Wow. Well, I just want to take mention right quick of that lovely shirt you have on right now. Be inspired. And again, if you look up the word inspiration, you're going to see your face. But if you look up Be Inspired, you also see her face. And I noticed it's spelled with the B, inspired versus be inspired. And I want you to tell us a little bit more about that T, because it's very interesting and we just need to know more about that, okay?
Yeah.
So don't let us get you out of here without us talking about that lovely T.
Yes.
My Be Inspired started with my third cancer fight. So we jumping forward, but we'll go back and fill in the spots. But within the third cancer fight, I was like, I needed to be bold, and red to me is one of my favorite colors, and also it's a bold state. And when you have fought cancer from a mother to your child and then yourself, and you on your third fight, and I was going through it and it was getting to me and I cried all the time, but I still had a voice. I felt like there was something in me. It's like was a lump in my throat. God, I got more to do, but I don't know what to do. Everyone tells me, you inspire me, you inspire, and you motivate me to keep going through your fight. And most of the times when I read my motivations in the morning, I wasn't as inspired as I was sharing that with other people. And I talked to one of my girlfriends and I said, I want to be inspired about what I give, but I need something. And she said, go back and say that again. And then I told her again, and she said, that's your name. That's who you are.
Wow.
You be inspired. And so I have to be inspired by my own fight, who I am, inside and out. I have to love what fight I'm in currently. I had to be able to own what I was sharing with other people. And before I could give it to anyone else, I had to be inspired by me.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's how that came about. And so that is now my Be Inspired, empowerment, inspiration, motivational, and I just love it.
Mm.
It stands for a lot.
That is an amazing story. Just how you can inspire others, and then through their inspiration, through your inspiration to them, you were inspired to continue to give that inspiration over and over again. As those women actually put that t-shirt on, they feel the victory of overcoming whatever it is that they have to overcome. And that's so powerful to me. And thank you so much for coming up with such an inspirational piece of clothing that one can wear and feel, encouraged, feel inspired.
And the thing was with the logo, it has a silhouette of a woman, and she's kind of looking up.
Bag up a little bit so we can see it. There you go.
Oh, that is pretty.
Yes, and it's a silhouette of a woman looking up. And when we look up, we know where to draw my strength. And so I was always looking up to God because, okay, I need you. I need help. Show me, what am I supposed to do? Where am I going? What are you doing with me in my life? And we have to know where to draw our strength. And also we have to know where to look. And if we keep our heads up, we see our blessings coming. We keep our heads down in the midst of trouble or hurt or a fight or the loss of whoever. It hurts. And so naturally, we want to put our heads down. But why not be inspired through whatever you go on with your life and keep your head up? And when you're looking up, you see where your blessings come. You know where to draw your strength from. And that's where that came from. And the color red is, I make a bold statement when I speak because it's coming from the heart.
Mm-hmm.
It's not dark. And the silhouette is not just of an African-American woman. It can go for anybody. Yeah.
So inspiring, so encouraging. And one of the main reasons that we have you here today is because your story is so phenomenal, Stafon. I mean, when I remember the first day I met you, your energy preceded you in that room. And I just caught it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this woman here has something special inside of her. And I couldn't even tell you at that moment, but I knew that there was something special about you.
And then how many years ago?
That was over, let's see, maybe 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it had to have been over 5 years. 2014, 15. Yeah, because we were getting ready to do the. It was, you spoke at my conference. You were one of my speakers. But when I met you, we were at a networking event.
Yes, we were.
We were at a networking event with Mr. Kenneth Wallace.
Right.
And he had a lot. I think we were both speaking that day.
We were.
Actually, we were both speakers that day at that event. And when you got up and shared your testimony and your story there at that event, I was blown away because there was no way, Chikeitha, I was looking at this woman who had gone through what she was saying. There was no possible way. And that's why we had to have you a part of the hiding behind the pages, because it is so important for women to know that you can do it. Mm-hmm. You can press your way through the situation no matter what comes your way, and you're epitome of that. So could you please share with our listening audience a little bit about your story.
Well, my story started 1998 in Wichita, Kansas, with a little old girl named Sheree Nicole Jackson. And she was a 2-year-old, feisty, independent child, my child. And she spoke very well to be 2. And as we went on, she ended up being diagnosed with cancer, stage 4 neuroblastoma, which is a cancer that starts when the baby when you're pregnant, from 0 embryo all the way up until they're like 5. She was diagnosed when she was 2.5. And doctors gave us 14 months with her. And
Wow.
boy, did she live 14 months and exactly expired on 14 months.
Oh, wow.
And through that fight, I was a 27-year-old wedded mom of 2 daughters and a stepson. And that was the beginning of a journey for me that was very hard. And it's like I had blinders on because I did not know. I've never walked these treads before. And long story short, we ended up traveling from Wichita, Kansas to Cook Children's in Fort Worth for her treatment. Sheree was the first child to experience the stem cell machine, the stem cell collection at Cook Children's. And we went through treatment there, and I was only supposed to be in Texas about probably a month. We ended up being here 4 months. And I learned, and I was by myself majority of the time because her father worked, and then we was on the out. And you know, when you have a child that's sick with cancer, it causes all kinds of problems with your siblings, with your husband, and with your both, you know, not knowing how to communicate. So we went back home in February of 1999, and I took Sheree off of chemo because the doctor said it was not working. June the 29th of 1999, and he gave her 3 months. And she received her wings. I don't never say she lost. Losing, when you say you lose, that means you lost. Sheree won her wings into heaven. And she is continuing to cover me. 11 years later, I was diagnosed with my first battle of colon cancer, colorectal cancer, stage 2B. There's many stages to colon cancer, and so I hit the stage 2B. How did we miss the stages before that? Well, my colon perforated and wrapped around my appendix, and I ended up in the hospital April the 18th of 2010, and I was diagnosed with colorectal cancer, and that was my first fight. And it was a hard one for me. And then 2013, July of 2013, actually one day to the day that Sheree was diagnosed. July, I was diagnosed with my second fight. So it had a reoccurrence, came back in my ovaries. And then my third fight came in July of 2016. And I ended up, now it's my current fight, and it's stage 4 colorectal cancer due to the flip. So it's not the primary, the colon cancer is the primary, now it's lung cancer secondary due to the metastatic colon cancer. And so I learned how to research my own fight, because in order for me to share what my journey is, I have to be able to understand it first before I can share it with other people, and that's what I've done. And so my life became bold in 2016. I started talking about it. I opened my life up to the C Lounge, which is the infusion room, to Facebook, to show people what cancer was, what treatment was. And being that person, I stood boldly, and I was going to fight hard, and I still am. And I'm still in that current fight, and I won't give up. And I just inspire people to keep moving, keep fighting no matter what you've gone through. And I always say, Lord, there is somebody worse than myself. But I try to get people to open up and share your story, because in every fight that we have, no matter if our children, divorce, domestic violence, look deeper. There's a purpose there for you. We're not created just to be here. There's something for us to do. And I have chills now because I know that I'm doing what God has for me. It's my ministry, it's my mission, and it is my purpose. And it's a driven purpose. And I feel good inside when I share that. Yeah.
Wow, I feel good hearing it, and that is a whole lot to overcome. From the baby, going through the time of her transitioning, not knowing that it was a transitioning cycle, but going through that whole back and forth to the doctors, having to leave your state and doing things like that, to losing your baby.
Correct.
And maybe some other things along the way. And on top of that, 11 years later, to have to endure something to a similar circumstance for yourself, I mean, that's a lot, Stafon. And again, if anyone was to run into you in the mall or anywhere else out socially, they would not be able to tell. You keep that beautiful smile on your face. You bring so much light into the room. And every time I get a chance to see you, I can't help but put my hands all over you.
I wear my smile for a reason. From the mouths of my daughter, Mommy, when I become an angel, please don't forget me. Mommy, keep smiling, then no one knows where you hurt. And those came from my daughter and the angel. And they say your child has been here before, because she was so advanced and she loved the Lord at 3 years old, and at that time we're teaching. And she taught me. And I say she's my little hero because Sheree taught me about the future. Sheree laid the pathway. Her death showed me how to speak. It gave me a voice. Her death gave me my purpose. And her death gave me a reason to fight. So now I have a big why. And my why is first keeping her legacy alive, to be able to help other parents and families where we once were. And an example of her life in mine. And so I fight harder with my own fight currently. And because I know that she's protected, I know she's proud of me, and I know that I'm doing what it is that I'm supposed to do. I would have never, ever thought that this would be something that I would share, because I wasn't a speaker. I've always talked, I've always had love, but going through this here, it made me a little softer on the inside, but then it made me a little harder on the outside to be able to withstand what was coming towards me. And every time I go to the oncology, I have one tomorrow, I get nervous a little, because I'm not worried, but I do get nervous because I don't know what's happening on the inside. And I feel good, but I was feeling good when I was re-diagnosed as well. And colon cancer is the second leading killer to breast cancer, 45% higher in African Americans, 50% higher in our African American women, which is my sisters. And I can share any part of that, so that none of my sisters, none of my African American queens have to go through what I went through with the information. And that's why I share. That's why I stand up and talk about the symptoms, because no one stood in front and talked to me. No one handed me a pamphlet and said, these are the symptoms. No one walked with me. And so now I'm able to share my testimony with other people, even if it doesn't affect you now. Don't wait until it affects you. Take the information, be mindful. Knowledge is power, because in your walk in your life, there may be someone that needs the information for childhood cancer, colon cancer, or need direction to where they can possibly get help.
Wow, that is such a beautiful testimony, Stafon, and I just thank you for sharing, because you know, just having the courage to be able to continue on, you know, in the walk, even after, you know, your daughter transitioning and having experienced all of that, and then have to go through it yourself. And, you know, just being able to continue to keep her legacy alive, like that takes courage to be able to do, to continue to stand before people and continue to tell the story and continue to, you know, through that process, you're continuing to gain more strength to be able to do it. And I just thank you for, you know, allowing us to be able to help you with, you know, just sharing your story on Elite Speakers platform. Can you just share with us some of the other places that you, where you've been able to share your story?
Absolutely. I have been invited actually to I've been on 8 different radio, you know, internet, and shared stories since 2013. And I was a speaker at a church, and it was something about that church because 6 months, almost 6 months to the date that I spoke, May the 6th, at this church in Dallas, God showed me that I was speaking. I was standing in front of a glass platform, a glass podium, and I had on a black suit with a red tie around my neck. And when I went to speak at that church, it was a glass podium, but I had on a different outfit, but it was still, and when I looked into the audience, the faces was all clear. I could not see who it was, but it went so far back. The very first time that I actually spoke in front of a church and shared my story. And wouldn't you know that I met a lady sitting right on the front row that was fighting colon cancer as well. Wow. And what I'm learning is the more I open up and talk about the fight, my story, the struggle, the courage, the truth, the ugly, you know, the messy, everything with this that this cancer has, the more I share that, the more people start opening up about theirs.
Yeah.
And so that gives them courage to talk about theirs. I did, what else I done? I was chosen by Cancer Care Services in Fort Worth, and to be their Heroes of Hope luncheon. They did my testimony June 3rd, and I had an opportunity to go to the actual Heroes of Hope luncheon October 22nd. And that's awesome. My video was chosen as a testimony, and to be able to share with that.
You were on the Talk to Tracy Brooks show as a guest host.
Yes, I was on Talk to Tracy Brooks show as a guest. And what I want to take from this, I don't want to just go and be a guest on someone's show to fill up space, because what I have to say is true life things. This is nothing that's made up. It's nothing that you could write a story on. It's actual life lessons that can happen to anybody. And it's just so happened that I have the voice, and I have rocks. It's called Live Out Loud. My hashtag is #Live Out Loud, because my first fight I had to learn to live with cancer. The second fight I had to step outside yourself. Sometimes we have to step outside to go back in and look in the window to see where we are. Because if we never step back, we're going to get consumed with the illness or whatever it is that's fighting us at that moment. We're going to lose the fight and not understand the battle, not get a lesson out of why we're doing it. And so I had to step outside myself to do that. And then my third fight was my bold. And live out loud. When you're loud, you're bold. And so that's my hashtag. Live out loud.
Beautiful, beautiful. That is so amazing and so encouraging and so inspiring. And again, we just appreciate you being here, sharing your testimony. Now, we talked a lot about your daughter and what you've overcome, but can we talk about the solution that you've created. Not only are you out there sharing your testimony and speaking those words of encouragement for those to stand up and share their testimony as well and be healed through the words that they speak, but you've created an organization, the CNJ Foundation, in honor of that pretty little baby that is still with us here now. Could you please share a little bit about the inspiration? Well, we could hear the inspiration, but could you share about the process of getting that whole organization together and what you do and tell with that organization?
Well, I smile every time that C&J is said because it's an honor to my daughter. It's an honor to my little angel and my hero and God's child.
Yeah.
Walking into that, it was very hard. You could never eat. You can't put into words how I felt as a 27-year-old mom, you know, with a child that has cancer, something I've never understood, never knew anything about it. And so when she was diagnosed, we went through the process. Me and her father ended up getting a divorce, which was even rough. And then to know that I had another little package with me was my other daughter, which was Kayla, which was only 7. So we had to learn how to grieve together, which was hard. And when we did that, it kept on going, and God kept showing me C&J. And I kept pushing it away. And I'm saying, I'm not going to do that, you know. And I have things written down years ago when you're going to do this. I started doing something, then I stopped. And then I start again, then I stopped because I was afraid. And God still had to work on me. Well, 2015, June the 9th of 2015, I received my nonprofit 501c3 status for CNJ Foundation. Our mission is dedicated to assisting families impacted with cancer by way of a child, assisting them with their financials like mortgage, rent assistance, utility assistance, emotional support is what they need with licensed counselors, and not only looking deeper into the household to supply food vouchers for the house because we still have other kids there, and toiletries for the families. All of those things was things that we needed. And so our organization is dedicated to assisting the families. And I say the families because the mother and the father, or whoever that domestic partners are with that child, they're important. Once one of those pillars fall, the whole family is falling with it. And that's what happened to us. And if we could be able to help out in little ways and just give back. And it's so big of me and unselfish because I'm fighting this myself, but it's not about me. God gave me the organization first. Then my cancer comes secondary. I have to be obedient to what he has given me for what it is that he laid out for the vision for the C&J Foundation. And that's to take care of families. And when we do that, that's God's love because they're people. And everybody, whether they're whatever ethnic background it is, we still God's people, and God is about love. And that's what our organization is about, family.
Wow. Do you have any upcoming events for C&J? I know you talked a little bit about fundraisers.
Yes, we started, actually, I launched the foundation September 1. September 1, 2019.
Yeah.
Actually, 20 years to almost the date she received her wings. Childhood Cancer Awareness is September. Sheree received her wings September 9th of 99. Well, we launched her foundation, the website of it, September 1 of 2019, 20 years later. And we started a toiletry drive, something small to where we could still be working in the community until we are able to get the funding and get the monthly contributions to coming in. And you know, with trying to get a new organization out there and tell people, you got to prove yourself. You got to be transparent before people be able to help you because they don't know who you are. There's so many scammers out here nowadays that they want to know that they know what your mission is. They want to know where their dollars are going. And so our organization, the website is www.cnjfoundation.org. And on there, it tells our mission, it tells what we're doing. So right now, we started October 1st, will be the toiletry drive. We have Cook Children's Hospital, and we will be delivering toiletries. And they don't understand how important the toiletries are to provide to the mother, the father, the family that's taking care of a sick child, because they don't have the funds. Most of the time when you go to the hospital, you pack for yourself, not your child, not yourself. So we provide the toiletries to the parents that are taking care of the children, so they can keep their lives feeling as normal as possible. And when you feel good and you feel clean, it makes you look good, you feel good on the inside. And those are the small things that we as a whole community forget. The $1 soap or the razors, how that makes us feel. You know how we feel when we come home from work on a hard day, we take a bubble bath. Well, they want to do the same thing. And that's where I was. And so we have the toiletry drive. We have a drop to make delivery in December. And then in 2020, every quarter after, we make a delivery to the hospital. I spoke with Cooks on Friday, and she said that is one huge, huge thing that they need help with, is toiletries, because they take care of the child and they try to do their best to take care of the family, but sometimes they can't. And so that's where they look to other organizations to do so. And so we're glad to be a part of that, to be able to help there, because I was there and I know how much it's needed. And then we have on November 16th, Kendra Scott reached out, and so we're having a sip and shop, and that is the Kendra Scott, and that is 8383 Preston Central Plaza, Suite 160, and that's from 2 to 4, and it's a sip and shop. So everything that you purchase there, then they would donate 20% back to the CNJ Foundation. And so we're just looking for people to come out, have fun. If you purchase online, make sure you call the store so that they can be able to give us the credit from that as well. I've had a lot of organizations, about 5 organizations, reach out because it's that important. When you have an organization that's growing, you reach back and you bring a smaller organization to help them grow. And that's what they have done. And I'm very grateful for all of the organizations that have reached out to say that they can help us with our toiletry drive. What is the Eastgate Missionary Baptist Church and off of Hope, 6960. They're a one place where they can drop toiletries there. And I love the church. It's Pastor Kennedy Young. I think it's Junior is the senior pastor there. And we went and service was great. Stars in Arlington is another drop where they can be able to make drops there as well. If you have things that make you would like for us to pick up or you would like to deliver, reach out to us. We have a phone number, which is the 800 number, and you can call us and we make arrangements to pick those up. And that number is 844-4CNJ-999.
I was headed right there. Thank you so much for dropping that number. And you know, the whole time you're talking, Stafon, I'm just like, wow, this woman has taken her pain. And you know, I have the Pain to Purpose program. But when I hear you speak, I hear pain to philanthropy. It's like it took you to a whole nother plateau in life that you're giving and you're just so abundant with your heart. And I just hear this big heart of gold. And again, if you look up the word inspiration, they're going to see your face.
Well,
I just think that's so amazing.
You know when you feel good about something you want to share. When God has done anything in your life, especially saved you, and I know that I'm healed by his stripes. This is not my journey. I'm a vessel of God, just sending a message out for him. Not that he can't reach people on his own, but sometimes he got to use other people to get to people that he really needs. And I truly believe that's what he's doing with my life. And I feel good. And then he still allows me to go out there and do the little fun things that I do. And I'm not so Christianified that I don't know how to have fun. And I say, live out loud, live your best life, because we're dying every day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, anything could change. And I don't want my life to be, oh, I wish I would have done that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy in my life and I'm walking and living the best life that I know how to be every day. At the end of the day, when I get ready to go to bed, Lord, I did everything I could do possibly for today. I can't do no more. So we got to learn that we can't do more than what we are capable of.
Mm-hmm.
And if we invite change and we don't expect, then we learn how to live and accept the change easier. Because when we're expecting something with the change, then we're losing the very meaning of change. Change is good, but when we expect something, that's when we lose it. Because if you don't have any expectations, what are you doing? You're just living.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't have expectations. We have few disappointments because when you have expectations, you expect your friends to do this. You expect your dollars to be this. But if you don't have those expectations, there's no disappointment because you didn't expect it. So when
I
it
love
comes,
that.
it's a blessing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm only sharing my speaking is nothing that I research. It's just from within my heart. And actually my whole life from, you know, my brother, my father, and learning how to go through that, and then my daughter, then myself, and then how to be able to open my heart to a man that's coming into my life, which is my husband, that walked in the middle of my cancer fight and has just been amazing. And then trying to keep up with my oldest daughter and give her the love, because when we don't take the time to focus on our siblings, which is our other children of a deceased brother or sister, it can affect them in their future as they grow. So we got to be able to be mindful of our other children because they can act out if we don't get them the proper help.
Wow, that was so amazing.
Yes.
Thank you for your love and your testimony in itself is such an inspiration. And again, she is the founder of CNJ Foundation. You all, the 1-800 number. Can you please share your 1-800 number again in case someone has information, contact information? Please share with our listening audience your phone number one more time.
Yes. And also look for Be Inspired. We're coming. It will be Inspired. But the CNJ is CNJFoundation.org. My phone number is 844 Tracy, 844-4CNJ-999. What those numbers are is 1-844-426.
Hey, I love acronyms, and you know what? That just tells me that you put a lot of thought into that phone number when you got it. So kudos to you and the foundation. We support
Let me correct that. It's 844-426-5999. That's it. And yes, again, 844-426-5999.
Yes, it will be on the screen. Our audience will be able to see that and be able to call you directly.
Yes.
Well, I can send an email as well as info@cnjfoundation.org.
Awesome.
I've enjoyed myself.
Oh, we've enjoyed you, and we just thank you again for joining us for the Hiding Behind the Pages 40 Women Interview Series. Ladies, if you're hiding behind the pages, you have a story to tell or a book to sell, please join Chikeitha and I at Elite Speakers Prep ESPS Series on Facebook, or find us on Facebook, Elite Speakers Prep Series. Get your information in. Go to the website. You don't want to be left behind. We have phenomenal women such as Stafon Bishop sharing her testimony. We're
Yes.
taking this to the big stage. We're hosting a really great conference next year with all of our speakers. And you don't want to miss out on this because we can actually be hearing your testimony then as well. So with that being said, I'm the co-founder of Elite Speakers, Tracy Brooks. We have the beautiful Stafon Jackson Bishop and
Chikeitha Owens.
And we thank y'all for joining us for this next episode of Elite Speakers. And we encourage you to join us for the very next episode of Hiding Behind the Pages 40 Women Interview Series. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Wow, that was an awesome interview with Miss Stafon Bishop Jackson. Thank you all for tuning in. And I just, you know, Tracy, she has such a beautiful testimony and just her whole courage and her strength, you know, continuing to go through the fight, you know, after losing her daughter, and she has continued to go through the fight and having to, you know, to cope with her own diagnosis of being diagnosed with cancer. And so I just thank you, Ms. Stafon, for all of the information you have shared, because it has truly blessed my soul, you know, and just hearing your story and just your strength and just your courage of going through. So thank you.
Yes, and again, like she said before, keep pressing through. Do not give up no matter what the situation. Just keep pressing forward and do not allow what the doctors have to say about you, because as you can see, Stafon, she is a bottle of inspiration. Yes. So if you have enjoyed this interview, please hit the like button. Be sure to like and subscribe and share our channel, for we are looking to grow our viewers here on YouTube and our presence on Facebook. So we want to thank you again for joining us for another episode of Hiding Behind the Pages with Stafon Bishop and our co-founder, Chikeitha Owens.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.